Getting right to it. You already know what it is. Your boy Tanto Stanley. We on the podcast. Been a few days since your boy been here, man. You already know, man. Called the floor of the world. Called the floor of life, man. You understand what I'm saying? But nevertheless, always keeping my ear to the street. Let's get right to it, man. This thing with Diddy is causing an upheaval inside the black and Latino community. White people, the majority of America, they don't really care about that. This is entertainment for them. This is something that has already, you know, been devised by them years before that's now coming to fruition and coming to its manifestation right now. We seeing it and we looking at it like, wow, Diddy. You understand? He did this to Cassie. He did that to Cassie. But in the reality of it all, Diddy didn't do anything to Cassie that this society and its facade of what privilege offers. You see, Diddy didn't do anything that, you know, nobody else with that kind of largesses didn't practice, participate in, or engage with. That's how come so many pictures and so many people names are coming out inside this, this big salacious, scandal or whatever it is. I think it's a scandal because I don't think that Cassie was a victim in the context of how we understand the victim to be. They talking about Stockholm syndrome. If you ever study Stockholm syndrome, you will understand what I'm talking about. Stockholm syndrome came from a doctor or a psychiatrist or psychologist or whatever this guy professional title was. And he was the one that came in to give psych evaluations to a famous or infamous bank robber years ago, maybe in the late or the mid 70s. Patty Hearst, if you guys ever heard of Patty Hearst. And the Stockholm syndrome is about a person who's have been kidnapped, right? Finding empathy and sympathy inside themselves to impart upon those who kidnapped them, right? And so Patty Hearst was some rich girl, some heiress of the Hearst family back in the days. And I believe it was the Symbionese Liberation Army, the SLA. They kidnapped her and a couple of her friends or whatever, and they told her family specifically that this is what they wanted for ransom. And so in the exchange or whatever, how things unfolded, and after, the smoke cleared and Patty Hearst was still there, in the psych evaluation, the doctor who evaluated her came up with this, fantastic, philosophy of how, a person can empathize and then sympathize with those who are doing an injustice to them. You understand what I'm saying? But in this regard, when we speak into Stockholm syndrome, it's not a repetitive act. Yes, the kidnappers could have abducted you and kept you, let's say, for a year. And within a year's time, a relationship, found a way to develop. And in the development of this relationship, although you was the hostage and this one was the one who kidnapped you, y'all found a way to be able to, cohabitate, you know what I mean, coexist with each other in a harmonic balance. When empathy and sympathy is being imparted by the one who is being subjected to the injustice. You understand what I'm saying? But in this regard, when you look at Cassie, man, a victim in any degree or in any regard is not doing an intentional act. Picking up the phone and calling someone to come back to see you again is an intentional act. You understand what I'm saying? No matter how traumatized she, could have been from after having to endure the ordeal that she was being subjected to, you know, that kind of, behavior speaks for itself. It speaks to itself. You see, because if anything, why would you want to replay the worst part of your day? I mean, if she was a victim and she was being abused, then why would she want to replay the worst part of her day? You understand what I'm saying? And so what I'm trying to say is, it's strange. And I know with 8 men on the jury, dudes is going to look at that and they're going to be like, yo, come on, homie. Like, she called this dude back. You understand what I'm saying? She called the other dude back, the Punisher, the dude, one of the escorts. He came in and he testified and he said, yeah, he seen, Diddy hit her, right? And he seen them use drugs, right? He said, but everything that he engaged in with Cassie was consensual. And that she liked it. The dude said she liked it. You see, so I'm saying, what are we going, believe only part of what he say, but then believe, another part of it's like we picking and choosing. If we're gonna believe when he say that he seen Diddy hit her, how can we not believe when he say that she was a willing participant? Notwithstanding, him and Diddy didn't run no train on her. You know, one of my homies just now pointed out to me a few minutes ago before I came on, and she was like, yo, and all that she's been watching, she hasn't heard any of the escorts say that they had sex with Diddy yet. And when you look at it, I haven't heard any of the escorts say they have sex with Diddy either. I heard the kinky, weird, freaky shit about, the escort nutting all over Cassie and she taking the nut and rubbing it on the nigga Diddy nipples. That type of weird shit. That shit crazy. That's that Scorpio shit. Y'all can't have it all type of ways. Scorpios want to be the champions of being nasty. Well, here you go. You understand? Because I don't know what the fuck the nigga Diddy was doing with that. But nevertheless, that's not what he's on trial for. Cassie is saying that she was coerced into participation. You see, but now the witnesses that the prosecution is bringing to the forefront is saying something different. The witnesses are saying, the witness they just brought straight up and down said, yo, it was consensual. I would not have even been able to engage in that act had it not been consensual. The act was consensual, y'all. So what are we saying that she was coerced into participating? There were ample, enough times and opportunities for her to get away from Diddy. And I know the ones of you who understand this in an intimate way may say, yo, he knows nothing about being abused in that way for him to say something like that, right? And I will give you that to a certain extent. I was abused once, and I shared that with, my audience before, and, we ain't got to go into details, but I was abused once. You were sexually abused by, a male relative inside my family, homie. You know what I mean? Nigga tried to get at me, homie. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I put up resistance, but nevertheless, the act was initiated, right? And that shit fucked me up for a long time when I was a kid. I used to stutter when I was a kid, and it was a part of what trauma left behind, I learned later. Sometimes I still deal with the vestiges of stuttering. I'm doing it now, right? But I was traumatized, and I don't say me because I hear a lot of people do that, and y'all gotta stop. That's projecting. You have to stop that, all right? What happened to you in its own regard, and nobody making light of it, but just because it happened to you don't mean that that's the general standard for everybody else. And so what I'm saying is, although it happened to me, and I know that we deal with trauma and grief in our own way, the adult part of me, the mature part of me, made a conscious decision to still be able to live my life beyond that, right? And in order for me to be able to live my life, I had to come to terms with it. I had to face it. I was much younger than Cassie was. Y'all sit here and rave until by she was this 19-year-old damsel in distress, but you got kids younger than that dealing with traumas that are far more worse than that. You understand what I'm saying? And so in that regard, like I was saying, what person, that was victimized in that way will continue in a repetitive way to make conscious choices to replay the day. I know it, Ron. That shit is so true. That's how the shit come out of me, y'all. That's just how I give it up. But it's the truth. Listen to what I said. Like, that's a repetitive act to pick up the telephone and call somebody and say, come on back. Come on, homie. That victim's not doing that. You understand what I'm saying? And then people wanted to speak to how come the defense, didn't want to question the moms, If Puffy ain't do what he said, then the moms, let the moms have her say and see what she say. The moms had her say, and I think that was a brilliant strategy by the defense, because what they didn't do was give her the stage to continue her performance. She's biased. She's the mother. She's the mom. We living in a society where these sexual deviancies are no longer accepted. Oh, they're still practiced. Very much so. You look at porn, you gonna see it going down. You know, I see the white boy on there, Rocco C. Ferretti, man. This nigga's the fucking Lucifer of porn. You talking about trafficking? This dude is importing women in from Brazil, importing women in from fucking Czechoslovakia, from Lithuania, and I'm talking about annihilating these bitches, getting them over here in America, giving them drugs, because all them bitches sniff cocaine, popping molly, them bitches is hot. Giving them bitches drugs, paying them for their services, and then sending them back to their countries. If that ain't drug dealing and trafficking, I don't know what in the world else is. Prostitution, legal. But the government says it's okay because they take a tax from the profits that those porn industries are making. Nevertheless, the porn industry in and of itself and the display of their content is giving deep influence to the culture out here today. You know, I posted a picture the other day. I hope some of you caught it. That's why I didn't speak to it in a particular way. But I did a side by side. I put a picture of Cassie up when she used to have that little Rihanna haircut when her Rihanna was running around with the flip and this side ball. And then I put the porn actress Skin Diamond next to it because she used to wear that hairstyle. And from a distance, her and Cassie favor each other. You understand what I'm saying? But look at the dual influence. Right? The porn industry jumped into the hip hop, and then the hip hop jumped into the porn industry. Yeah, Cassie was an R&B singer, but she down with Puffy, and Puffy bad boy for life. He told y'all that, right? You know, but the culture is being influenced, you know, by this entity called pornography. And I watch Pornhub here and there. You know, sometimes nigga just, you know, want to see something different. You understand what I'm talking about? Legal, but something different. You understand what I'm saying? And so it exists. But when you go ahead, you stroll over there and you look over there and then you see the charges that this man is being accused of, homie, porn is an $11 billion industry in our society. It might be more. I'm going off a number I researched a couple of years ago in the light debate. But what I'm saying is because it's so much in demand, it's inevitable for it to spill out into our mainstream culture, right? But then there's some marriage to it, right? Because you got people like Sugiyana, just seen her, you know, I follow her on Instagram. She got a new video out, you know, riding it in a car, whatever, pussy out, everything. She rapping, right? Y'all know how she give it up. She'll fucking nigga while she rapping. Her and the Sexy Red, but Sexy Red made hardcore porn, then go make a fucking track right after that. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the culture manifesting itself in an individual. And we looking at him and we blaming him for the things that we all partake in. You know, how hypocritical is that, y'all? You know, it's Puffy right now. Who next? Who next? Because you could believe you, me, somebody will be next. This is the way it go. Pay attention. You know, anytime a nigga step too far outside the box, they gotta reel that nigga ass back in. Y'all look at the old movies that they got up on YouTube, and Puffy, you know, was making a band, and he had the office, and he on the phone, and he pointing his finger, and he got a red suit on, he chains and shit, and he talking and shit. They don't want to see no shit like that. I'm just giving it up for what it is, man. I'll sit at the table with the biggest office in the land, and we'll sit down and have a conversation about that because it's the truth and the shit is real. You know, if we were visiting crimes from afore, how convenient are we forgetting about slavery, man? And I know that's a fucking old tune that motherfuckers used to dance to. You see what I'm saying? But it's still a necessary one that we should pay attention to, bro. You understand what I'm saying? The crimes of slavery were atrocious. This shit we seen Diddy did to Cassie and the way he got out here fucking like a dog. Yo, homie, slavery was 1,000 times more worse than that. Them niggas was beating the shit out of black women. Beating them like they were the fucking niggas, man. Raping them, doing whatever the fuck they want with them. You know what's fucked up when we see a black dude chasing behind that snow? Oh, it ain't snowing, it ain't going. And that's just his thing. You know, you can experience, you can date, you can but when you lock it in and lock it down, that's a whole different other kind of conversation. It's bad enough when we see these dudes do that, but now the sisters, right? Because in the reality of it all, whatever Cassie racial makeup is, she ain't white, right? And so she's a person of color. And so you got a person of color taken from another person of color to run back to the other side and put it in his lap. So he could take that money on back to his grandfather and he keep that back in their family. You know, I mean, these are the ramifications of what's actually happening here. You know, and so when I be seeing people applauding, you know, I understand because, you know, I'm wise in ways that a lot of you would not even understand or even believe. And so I understand that when I do see people doing things like that, it's more projecting than it is anything else. It's more about, yo, I was messing with a dude that did that to me, so I know these niggas do shit like that. That's what that's about. You know, so when I hear all that noise, that's what I do. I just leave that shit as noise. Because you can't make no sense out of nonsense. You understand what I'm talking about? Cassie was willing and she participated. You know, she was making requests. What type of victim is making requests for people to nut in their mouth and nut all over their face? She was making those requests, y'all. Pay attention, man. You know, she got jealous because Carisha got more for doing less. When she seen Carisha getting more for doing less, that bitch started steaming in her heart, homie. And remember, she was fucking with Alex. Lucifer always the fuck around. Here come Yakub. Always. Easy and Dr. Dre and them niggas had Jerry Heller. Here it is right here with this joint. Same type of shit. She was burnt, bitter. Puffy wasn't putting that music out. He was stringing her along. Yeah, he did that, y'all. Cassie was Puffy's pet. That's what rich, weird niggas do. They got these fantasies about having these little pets and shit. He be on the phone. Yo, come over, guys. I got Cassie here. And everybody know what it means. Right? These are the weird proclivities of the rich. These are the weird proclivities of the rich that come from the culture that says it's okay so long as you got money to pay. It's called play to pay or pay to play. I don't know, because I don't do it. That don't mean I won't be nice or whatever, take care of my lady. I do all of that. But all that pay to play shit, I'm not into that. Boy was into it. He had it to be into it. Right? She seen it. He's stringing her along. Here come Carisha. You know, Puff, one of his assistants, the white dude, the personal assistants, he got up there yesterday and said Puffy had 5 different women, all each believing that they were in a relationship with him, individually. I mean, come on, boy was playing. He was a player, ain't no question. That comes with that. Players and pimps, that come with that lifestyle. You know, you can't even explain that in one sitting. It comes with it. People of that lifestyle, from that lifestyle, know what I'm talking about. It comes with it. People are willing to play roles in order to keep that type of lifestyle alive. He had privilege. He was able to do it. Right? But in her heart, she burning, she steaming. He had in that trick bag telling her he love her, all kind of shit. You my baby, all kind of shit. That's how it go. And she went for it. And she bit into it. And she couldn't get her teeth out. That's what she couldn't do. She couldn't get her teeth out. One of the escorts said not only was it consensual, she liked it. up. Now, I know I done read some shit about victims. You know, it's fucked up in the way that it comes out. But because of their trauma and how they have been abused, and a particular individual that was abusing them later on in life, they cannot get off unless they thinking about that individual who abused them. Or sometimes they even crave, they even desire in order to find release from that individual who abused them. So I got some knowledge about what I'm talking about, right? And so nevertheless, when she seen Carisha come along getting more for less, that shit was burning in her, homie. And then she got Alex, the nice guy, in her ear. Come on, homie. Are y'all serious? Yo, he a stand-up dude. Only a real man could sit there and listen to his wife talk about people ejaculating her and pissing her mouth and still reach out for it. Nah, homie, a sucker gonna do that. Because first of all, a real man ain't even gonna let his wife get up there and do no shit like that. Say no shit like that. Because if it was that serious, they wouldn't have never went for the money and they would have pressed the charge in the beginning. And then technically, Alex Nice couldn't have pressed no charge because ain't nothing happened to that cocksucker. Right? But what kind of real man gonna let their wife get up there on a stand to humiliate herself? For what? In the name of justice? We all know, I don't give a fuck what color you is. Ain't no fucking justice in this country. You can buy justice in this country. Right? And so you got Alex Nice in her ear. She burning and steaming that Carisha still eating. Right? Puffy done got that girl a talk show, done put her on an allowance. Right? Yeah, she got on TV. She play her part. She told the world. She like getting pissed on. That's the type of shit that nigga into. How the fuck can we judge that nigga when you go to Pornhub and they selling that shit legally on the fucking TV? Porn is legal in our society. You ain't gotta go to fucking Vegas. You can watch that shit right in the palm of your fucking hand. The FDC, the FA, or whatever the fuck, the fucking federal the TV dude, whatever the fuck them niggas' names is, them niggas allow for that shit to be out there like that and accessible for barter and sell. People ain't making, well, you got, you know, the amateurs and the nuts, the freaks. They do the shit for free and upload it to Pornhub. But the big movie companies, Vivid Raw and Max Steed and, you know, Jake Stone, all them niggas, them dudes are, those dudes are pimps. They come outside, find chicks in, you know, low income areas, impoverished countries. They bring them over here, take them to the nail salon, get their shit done up, put lashes on them, give them a few dollars, give them some drugs, make a bunch of movies, and then send them back to wherever they got them from. That is fucking prostitution. But the government say it's okay because they got the shit under incorporated. It's a company. You understand? Saying they paying taxes. So that shit is okay. But nevertheless, it gives influence to our culture, to our society. So now motherfuckers who don't want to be just out there like that with their business out there like that, but they got the means to do it, them motherfuckers procure the same type of shit that these dudes is out here procuring. And doing what the fuck they want. Until you get a motherfucker like Cassie who get, you know, jealous, right? Because that's what it was. She was jealous that other people was getting attention from Diddy that she believed she deserved, that she believed she earned, so to speak. 11 years, she was with the dude 11 years, y'all. And everybody knew that was his girl or whatever she was supposed to be to him. You see, so let's be careful about how we allow this media, man, and this technology, right, to direct the narrative. You know, let's stop making the decision to accept that our lying eyes are always lying to us. Because if you see it, homie, you could be it, man. You understand? Yeah, we seen the tape of Diddy stomping Cassie out, and I was saying from go, that boy, but I don't fuck with Diddy. It's not even about Diddy. This shit is about what they could do inside this criminal injustice system to any one of us, right? But when I seen the kid stomping her out like that, you got no applause from me. I said the nigga was a sucker. Immediately. We don't jack that. We don't condone that. Beat that girl up like that. But he ain't on trial for that, y'all. You know, the prosecution, them 5 female prosecutors. Look how this whole shit is set up. Diddy, the player pimp, being prosecuted by 5 women. 5 female prosecutors that want his blood. They want to just crucify him because of the things that they believe he's been doing to women. Right? Then on the flip side, you got 8 jurors that are men, 4 women. The whole makeup of the trial itself is amazing, right? Because you got 8 dudes on the jury. I don't see 8 dudes finding this dude guilty. So at the worst, you know, we all gonna see a hung jury. Because I can't see 8 dudes seeing this dude guilty after all the, you know how many on there going, yo, she probably liked it. Oh, hot ass. Oh, Cassie. What, because they jurors? They don't have lower desires? Right? Or then on the flip side, the women might let him go. Because you know you got some women that just ain't buying that shit about her being no victim. Right? And so this shit here is interesting and it's wicked. And those who have sons, pay attention. I continue to reiterate. You never know, love. Your son might be the next one. You know, he hit the right ticket, right bag land on him. Life gonna change for y'all. And if this is happening to Diddy, it's only so much you can tell to a black young boy who will be soon a black young man how to stay in his place like a nigga, like a good old little Negro should. Because once they get some of that money and they get their own identity, it's only so much of that stuff mama gonna be able to put in that ear to keep him afraid of being who he's destined to become. You know, so pay attention because the next dude might be your son, right? And so we're going to move right along because I hear the shower coming up and I got to get ready to go. She be trying to get ready. She didn't know I was there filming. Anyway, we're going to move right along. The Megan Thee Stallion thing is foul. Aha. To all you little heifers who supported that. Little twerking maniacs. Why? Because she a woman? Because she a girl? Stop being shallow. Stop being petty. Picture men walking around not believing nothing women say because a man says she lying. This world would be so more fucking shallow and cold than it is now. I don't give a fuck if a dude is a man and he got a fucking, you know, whatever swinging between it. I don't give a fuck about none of that. A motherfucker out of step, he a man, I'm checking him. Women should start doing the same. Right? Because when she do shit like this, y'all all where to stand. Y'all all where to stand. Y'all do. All those who supported Megan Thee Stallion just because she's female, shame on you. Shame on you. And now she about to make all of y'all look stupid because she played in y'all face. A female. Man ain't do that. Tory Lanez instead led by example. He knew Kelsey shot her. He put his foot down and said, go ahead, I got this. And then y'all booed him for that. Oh, if he really ain't shoot her, he should have told. Real ones don't do that. I ain't had none of y'all talking about how stand up he was for holding it down for the bro. As a man, yeah. In control, yeah. Now fuck this joint. Shook the hand. Right? She clamped this, man. Right? I gotta hold that down. There was no other way he could have dealt with that. And I'm glad he had somebody in his ear telling him that's the way the play was supposed to go. Because that was gangster. What he was supposed to do, turn around and say, no, Kelsey shot her? That would have made him a bitch ass. A snitch. He held it down and y'all still wasn't satisfied. Then she get up here and start playing in everybody's faces, crying, popping shit. Gayle King exposed it from day one. If y'all want to get on some female shit, Gayle King took a higher role, that Oprah role, that Michelle Obama role, and said, yes, this question I am asking you, were you and Tory Lanez intimate? She lied and said no after she balked. Right? Come on, in our faces, homie. Plain. Then gonna put out a statement yesterday on the internet trying to further bark on the shit. I wouldn't be surprised that little girl commit suicide. I'm not encouraging it in no way. But I won't be surprised, because she ain't built like that. You know, boo-hoo though, man, on y'all who supported that, man, just because she a woman. Just because you a woman don't give you no pass to do no bullshit, no more than just because you a man gives you a pass to do some bullshit. You a man, you doing some bullshit, you get pulled out, nigga, and we checking you. Especially if what you doing is having an impact on our culture, man. Y'all fucking the narrative up, because we don't live like that, putting innocent people in jail. Shame on you. She out here fucked her homegirl, man. That shit came to light. She denied that the girl knew she was lying. They started fighting. Niggas tried to break it up. Kelsey grabbed the strap, and that's when them fucking shots went on. But as the forensics is starting to show now, Megan never even was shot. The fucking lion-ass heifer stepped on glass. Playing in all of our faces. The damn Sue in distress, stop that. Don't let gender put blinders on your eyes, man. Because like I said, had it been a man, he would be checked the same way. Not only that, if Tory Lanez would have turned around and said Kelsey was the one who shot Megan, he would have lost his street cred for that. We don't give a fuck about that. Nigga, that's your situation. You keep it in check. You point the finger at somebody, you a rat. Fuck about none of that. And if you want to play in the same game, y'all so quick, y'all the new niggas out here, then that's the same fucking standard. Y'all don't get to change the motherfucking narrative. Anybody that supported Megan Thee Stallion, shame on you. And with that, I'm going to leave it right there, man. The birds are chirping. That means we still here. Life is, see, I wrote a poem about that years ago. I might have to go dig in the stash and bring that out. I said, when you hear birds chirping, that means life is more. We are still here. Get up, get out, and get something. You already know what it is, the AHA podcast. Everything that came from here came from me. YouTube don't write, produce, nothing that I express. They just give me this space so I can express myself. That's it. Hit the like buttons and make sure you subscribe. If you fuck with me, and I'm out. AHA.